From his very first races as a junior, it was evident that Remco Evenepoel was no ordinary rider. His ability to time his attacks perfectly, outclimb rivals with ease, and crush time trials set him apart from the beginning. These early performances painted a picture of a prodigy who could potentially ascend to the ranks of the sport's all-time greats. Even before turning professional, Remco was already being compared to legends like Eddy Merckx and Bernard Hinault, names that defined eras in cycling. But while the physical attributes were impressive, what truly set Remco apart was his mindset, a level of tactical intelligence and racecraft that belied his years. He didn't just ride with raw power, he understood the rhythm of a race, knowing when to conserve energy, when to attack, and when to take calculated risks that often paid off spectacularly. By 2019, Remco signed with Deceuninck Quick Step, stepping into the pro peloton with the eyes of the cycling world on him. At just 19 years old, he was about to make an unforgettable entrance. His victory at the Clásica de San Sebastián cemented his place as a rising star, but it was the manner of that victory that truly shocked the cycling community. Attacking with over 20 kilometers to go, he held off a chasing group filled with seasoned pros, displaying not just immense physical strength but also the poise and strategic awareness of a much older rider. Holding off these experienced riders required a deep well of confidence and an intuitive understanding of pacing and race dynamics, which Remco executed flawlessly. For many, this was the moment they realized they weren't just watching another talented young rider, they were witnessing the emergence of a rider who had the potential to redefine the sport. His success wasn't a one-off surprise, it was a statement that the future of cycling was arriving much sooner than expected. And from that moment on, Remco Evenepoel began to carve out his own legacy, pushing the boundaries of what was possible for a rider his age. Explosive success, a star emerges. 2019 was the year that Remco Evenepoel truly announced himself to the world of professional cycling. It was a season that saw the young Belgian rider make his presence felt in an unforgettable way, starting with one of the most defining moments of his career, the Clásica de San Sebastián. At only 19 years old, Remco didn't just win the race, he did it in spectacular fashion, soloing to victory and leaving seasoned pros in his wake. That day, the cycling world knew it was witnessing something special, but this victory was merely the beginning of what would become a meteoric rise.
Waar in het verleden Valverde meerdere keren gewonnen heeft, waar Jalabert gewonnen heeft, waar Alaphilippe gewonnen heeft, waar Bugno gewonnen heeft, Indurain gewonnen heeft. Evenepoel zet de boel naar zijn...
From there, Remco's list of accomplishments began to grow at a rapid pace. He clinched victory at the European Time Trial Championships, showing his prowess against the clock. But it wasn't just in time trials that he shined. He also demonstrated his capability in stage races, winning the overall title at the Tour of Belgium. This showcased a remarkable versatility. Remco wasn't a one-dimensional rider. His time trial skills were top tier, but he was proving to be just as dominant in stage races and climbing competitions. For a rider so young, it was clear that his potential was sky high. His form on climbs continued to improve, and it became increasingly evident to everyone that Remco was not just a rising star. He was a generational talent, the kind of athlete who only comes around once in a lifetime. What made Remco's early career so remarkable was the speed at which he established himself among the sport's elite. Professional cycling is a sport where many riders spend years learning the ropes, working their way up the ranks, gaining experience, and earning their place among the best. But Remco seemed to bypass the traditional path altogether. He didn't need years of trial and error, he went straight to the top. His presence in the peloton felt like that of an experienced veteran rather than a young newcomer. And he wasn't shy about taking on the established stars, challenging them head-on with a fearlessness that few riders possess. His willingness to take risks paid off in ways that were often spectacular. But it wasn't just his physical talent that set him apart, it was also his demeanor. Even as a young rider, Remco exuded a calm confidence and inner belief in his abilities that made him a formidable competitor. This mental strength, coupled with his raw talent, made him a rider who could not be underestimated. His wins were not flukes, they were the result of a calculated, composed approach even under immense pressure. As he continued to compete, Remco proved that his early success was no accident. In 2020, he embarked on a dominant streak that further solidified his reputation as one of the best in the sport. Winning 5 consecutive stage races, including the prestigious Tour of Pologne, was a testament to his consistency and all-around ability.
Jest od Simona Jeńca, od Carapaza, od Rafała Mańki, no i jeszcze raz dedykacja dla Fabio Jakobsena, który jechał z 70.
No matter the race, no matter the terrain, Remco always seemed to find a way to win. He had transcended being just a time trial specialist or just a climber. He had become the complete package. The expectations around him grew with each victory. The media began hailing him as the new Merckx, drawing comparisons to the legendary Belgian cyclist Eddy Merckx, widely regarded as the greatest cyclist of all time. With those expectations came fame, sponsorships, and inevitably pressure. Companies like Specialized, Soudal, and Quick-Step were eager to be associated with the rising star who was quickly becoming the face of modern cycling. Yet, with fame and sponsorship deals came a new set of challenges for Remco. Not only was he racing against the best riders in the world, but he was also racing against the weight of expectations, those of fans, sponsors, and the media. But through it all, Remco remained remarkably composed. He handled the pressure with the same calmness and confidence that had defined him since his debut, proving that his success was not just physical, but also mental. The setback, a cruel twist of fate. In 2020, just as Remco Evenepoel's star was burning its brightest, fate dealt him a cruel hand. During the Il Lombardia race, while descending a technical section of the course, Remco misjudged a corner, sending him hurtling over a guardrail and into a ravine. The crash was nothing short of horrifying, with onlookers fearing the worst as he disappeared from view. The silence that followed was chilling, broken only by the frantic calls for medical assistance.
I wonder if there is any chance at all of those riders. This is the grainy helicopter shot. I think we've seen enough of this shot, really. Yeah. But he dropped behind. There are the 6 riders ahead of us.
When he was finally pulled from the ravine, the damage was severe. A fractured pelvis and a lung contusion, injuries that would sideline him for months. For a young rider who had been at the pinnacle of the sport, the fall from grace was devastating, both physically and mentally. This moment was a stark reminder that even the most gifted athletes are not immune to the dangers of the sport. Cycling, with its high-speed descents and unpredictable roads, can be unforgiving. For Remco, the crash was a jarring interruption in what had been an almost unstoppable rise. Suddenly, the world wasn't asking whether he would win his next race. They were wondering if he would ever be the same again. Would he fully recover? Could he regain the form that had made him such a dominant force in the peloton? The road to recovery was long and uncertain. For months, Remco was forced to sit on the sidelines, watching as the races he would have likely dominated continued without him. It was a frustrating period for a rider so used to being at the center of the action. The physical healing process was grueling, with each day presenting a new set of challenges. The fractured pelvis, in particular, required careful attention. Pelvic injuries are notoriously difficult for cyclists due to the strain placed on the body during pedaling, and there was a real concern about whether he would regain his full range of motion and power. But for Remco, the physical challenges were only part of the battle. Mentally, he had to come to terms with the vulnerability that comes with being a professional athlete. The crash was a humbling experience. It showed him that no matter how strong or talented he was, one wrong move could change everything. It was a test of his resilience and character, one that would determine whether he could come back stronger than before. Yet, true to his nature, Remco didn't just endure the recovery. He attacked it with the same ferocity that had earned him his reputation in the peloton. He approached rehabilitation as if it were another race to win, pushing himself to regain his strength, stamina, and confidence. The months of uncertainty, of wondering if he would ever reach the same heights, slowly gave way to progress. Each day he grew stronger, and each pedal stroke brought him closer to his return. By the time he was ready to race again, Remco wasn't just looking to return, he was ready to pick up exactly where he left off, aiming to once again dominate the sport that had come to miss his explosive energy and incredible talent. Redemption, the comeback of a champion. In 2022, after what felt like an eternity away from the peloton, Remco Evenepoel made his much-anticipated return to competition. The cycling world had been watching closely, waiting to see if the prodigy, who had taken the sport by storm before his crash, could reclaim his position at the top. And as soon as he began racing again, Remco left little doubt. Not only was he back, but he had evolved. His comeback wasn't just a return to form, it was a revelation, a display of how adversity can sharpen an already remarkable talent into something even more formidable. His crowning achievement that year was his victory at the Vuelta a España, his first Grand Tour triumph. It was a race that showcased the full range of his capabilities. Remco's dominance in the mountains was breathtaking. He attacked with a fearless aggression that left his rivals trailing in his wake, conquering the steepest climbs with apparent ease. His time trialing was as sharp as ever, proving that even after months away from competition, he still had the precision and power that made him a force to be reckoned with. But perhaps the most impressive was his tactical nous, his ability to read races, manage his efforts, and stay one step ahead of his opponents, a skill often reserved for seasoned veterans of the sport. Victory at the Vuelta a España was not just a personal triumph, it was a message to the world that Remco Evenepoel was not only back, but better than ever. His resilience in the face of hardship had paid off, and he had emerged stronger for it. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a statement of intent for the future. But Remco wasn't finished. To cap off his incredible season, he also claimed victory at the UCI Road World Championships, winning in stunning fashion and donning the coveted rainbow jersey. It was the ultimate validation of his talent, perseverance, and drive to succeed at the highest level. This victory on the world stage was the exclamation point on his remarkable comeback, securing his place among cycling's elite and proving that even after the darkest of setbacks, a true champion can rise again, stronger and more determined than ever. The legacy, a legend in the making. As we look ahead into the future, one question continues to echo in the cycling world. Just how great can Remco Evenepoel become? His meteoric rise had already placed him among the sport's elite, but with every race, every victory, and every challenge he overcomes, he adds another layer to his already extraordinary legacy. From a promising junior rider to a world champion, Remco's journey has been a tale of relentless drive, raw talent, and an unwavering desire to not just compete, but to dominate. The records he's broken are impressive, but what stands out even more is his ability to rewrite the narrative of modern cycling. He isn't simply winning races, he's reshaping how they are won, pushing the limits of what many thought possible. However, the fascinating part of Remco's story is that, in many ways, it feels like he's just beginning. At an age where most cyclists are still learning their trade, Remco is already a world champion, a Grand Tour winner, and a beacon of hope for Belgian cycling fans who have waited years for a new hero to emerge. But what makes him stand out isn't just the silverware on his mantle, it's his versatility. His uncanny ability to dominate time trials, conquer climbs, and outwit rivals in strategic moments of races sets him apart as a once-in-a-generation rider. The way he bounces back from adversity, like his triumphant return from injury, proves that his mental resilience is as formidable as his physical prowess. Remco is more than just a cyclist. He embodies a force of nature that refuses to be constrained by limitations. At just 24 years old, the ceiling for Remco's potential seems boundless. If his career thus far is any indication, we can expect a flood of Grand Tour wins, monument victories, and perhaps even a place among the pantheon of all-time greats. As cycling evolves, so does Remco, adapting, learning, and growing with every challenge he faces. His career will undoubtedly serve as an inspiration for future generations, showing that with passion, resilience, and a willingness to constantly improve, the sky's the limit. But as much as we speculate about his future, it's the present that we should appreciate. We're witnessing the unfolding of a career that will be talked about for decades to come. His story is one that transcends cycling. It's a reminder of the power of perseverance, the beauty of relentless ambition, and the thrill of seeing someone push the boundaries of their potential. His setbacks have been met with comebacks, and his victories are not just about standing on podiums, they're about creating moments of awe, rewriting the rules of what's possible. As fans and followers of the sport, we're left to ponder the records he will break next. What new heights will he conquer? How will he continue to shape the future of cycling? And perhaps most intriguingly, how will he be remembered when all is said and done? One thing is certain, Remco Evenepoel's journey is far from over, and the best is undoubtedly yet to come. He's not just making history, he's crafting a legacy that will inspire, captivate, and endure for years to come. As we watch his story continue to unfold, one thing remains clear: cycling will never be the same.